ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bhutair Mahadvir Yaima Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Shete Yadamushu Purusha Bhunte Gunan Shodashatmaka Solankrisishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me. Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satatapibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Please repeat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vyasavacha Iti Samprashno Samhrishto Vipranam Raumaharshinihi Pratipudya Vachastesham Pravaktum Upachakrame Sutavacha Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravobhinedus Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Yasvanubhavam Akila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam Atitirshatam Tamondham Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Guhyam Tam Yasasunumupayami Gurum Muninam Narayanam Namaskritya नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। मुनया साधु पृष्टोऽहम् भवद्भिर्लोकमङ्गलम् यत्कृता कृष्ण संप्रश्नो येनात्मा सुप्रसीदति स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अहैतुकी अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति योगः प्रयोजितः जन्यत्याशु वैराग्यम् ज्ञानं च यद् अहैतुकम् धर्मस्वनुष्ठिता पुंसाम् विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः नोत्पादयेद्यदि रतिम् श्रम एव हि केवलम् धर्मस्य ह्यापवर्गस्य नार्थोऽर्थाय उपकल्पते नार्थस्य धर्मैकान्तस्य कामो लाभाय हि स्मृतः कामस्य नेन्द्रियप्रीति लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस् तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयम् ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते तच्छ्रद्धाना मुनयो ज्ञानवैराग्ययुक्तया पश्यन्त्यात्मनि चात्मानं भक्त्या श्रुतगृहीतया अथ पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूज्यश्च नित्यदा यद् अनुध्यासीनयुक्ताः कर्म ग्रन्थि निबन्धनम् छिन्दन्ति कोविदास्तस्य को न कुर्यात् कथारतिम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome to Sunday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, and we'll continue with the discussions. So, you all realize that these are the most important instructions that Suta Goswami is giving, and it's like executive summary, you can say, of the whole 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is very important that we go over these again and again and impress and imprint in our minds the importance, because if we are convinced that what Suta Goswami is proposing and giving here, then actually we can turn our life towards pure devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada's purports are so wonderful. Again and again he emphasizes on this point of what is sense gratification and what is self-realization. And even in the field of religiosity, Prabhupada brings about purity, and he cuts sense gratification activity, even though it may so-called appear religious, but if it's tinged with even a slightest dent of desire for name and fame, that comes in the category of sense gratification. So the Srimad Bhagavatam actually internalizes our devotion to Krishna and goes into the depths of heart, and this is what it's all about. So we can say there are three levels of consciousness, and it can be described by dharma. So the first one, which is the lowest level, we have covered this, is Deha Dharma. Deha Dharma. What does it mean by Deha Dharma when we say Deha Dharma? Yes, it's contained within the confinements, the requirements and the needs of the body. So there is a nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which describes this. Dehendriya prana manodhyamyo janyapyaya shuddhaya tarsha krichribi. So let's study this because this is important. So this Deha Dharma, and then to regulate Deha Dharma, what kind of dharma is needed, as described in these verses? What have we been discussing over the last few weeks? What kind of dharma? Starting with S? Swadharma. Very good, Swadharma. So Swadharma is to regulate the wild propensities of Deha Dharma. And what is the purpose of Swadharma ultimately? Starting with what kind of dharma? Starting with P? Very good. Parodharma is to ultimate reach Parodharma. So Deha Dharma, Swadharma and Parodharma. So Bhagavatam very nicely describes this. Dehendriya prana manodhyamyo. Please repeat. Dehendriya prana manodhyamyo. So Deha means body. So the body constitutes Indriyas, the five sense organs of action and also knowledge. And then it is comprising of prana, the life air. Mano, it compromises mind. And then intelligence, dhyamyo. And what constitutes all these things? In the next line it's given. Janyapyaya bhaya Janyapyaya trish bhaya krichribi. So Deha is related to Janyapyaya. Janyapyaya means it is born and then ultimately it goes those 6 transformations. It's born, it grows, it reproduces, it grows old, it dwindles, and it dies. So that is deha. And then in relation to indriya, krichrihi. Krichrihi means the senses are exerted in material activities. One gets some sense pleasure out of some kind of sense gratification. So what do? We exert our senses in there, and then as soon as we over-exert or keep exerting, the body becomes weak. The more one indulges in sense gratification, the body becomes weak. Adi Shankaracharya says, Sukhata kriyate rama bhogam pashyad jivite shariram rogam. Because the level of happiness is only confined at the level of senses. Therefore, it's called sense gratification. Then, what happens? Pashyat jivite shariram rogam. It is the birthplace of disease. Loka samastaha maranam sharanam. Everyone without fail, due to overindulgence and exertion of senses, is going towards maranam sharanam, going towards death. However, they are so addicted to sense gratification, tadapi na munchati papa charanam. They are not able to give up the sinful activities they are doing. So this is the condition of body, its embarrassment. Prahlad Maharaj says. Deha, Indriya, and then Prana, life air. Stop breathing for 3 seconds. Try it, see what happens. We struggle. So the prana, what constitutes it? The hunger and thirst. We know during the day of Ekadashi, we don't eat. Now Nirjala Ekadashi is coming, no water even. How we feel. So that's the body demands that. Hunger, thirst. And then mind. The constitute of mind is, it's always going here and there, agitated, constantly agitated. And then dhyamyo, the intelligence is always calculating, how can I do this, how can I do that, so that I can profit, whatever field it is. We are utilizing the faculty of intelligence in our dream world. If only I have this much money, I can do this with it, and constantly calculating. That is called madness. Pramatta mucchairiti kritya chintaya praviddha lobham vishaye sulalasam. It's lobham, how to fulfill our greed for body, senses. The intelligence is overworking hard, and this is called samsara dharma. So it's synonym terms with deha dharma and samsara dharma. This is samsara dharma. Everyone goes through like this. Samsara dharma avibudhamanina. But those who are not bewildered by this bodily transformations or activities, avimudhimaninaha, on the contrary, smratya hare, they are constantly remembering Hari, Krishna. Then these persons, bhagavata pradhana, become the foremost devotees of the Lord. Bhagavata pradhana. So again, the word samsara dharma is used there, which is synonym of what? Deha dharma. So we are mentioning Shutta Krichrahi, then Dehendriya Prana Manodhyamyo Janyapyaha Shuddhaya Trisha Krichrahi Samsara Dharmaya Vimudimyanya Smritya Hare Bhagavata Pradhanaham. So, when we hear about parodharma, so Krishna is telling about glories of devotional service, in many places in Srimad Bhagavatam. But over here, what is the first and the foremost of instructing or answering the question about parodharma? Anyone can sing and let others repeat? Yeah, you can sing. Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktir adhoksaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidhati. Very nice. It's nice you are learning. These verses will really help us. So, Suda Goswami gives this solution that when one engages in parodharma, which is occupational engagement, the result is what? Yato bhakti radhokshaje. Loving devotional service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, who is known as Adhokshaje, is established. And when that devotional service is what? Ahaituki means unmotivated, and apratihata, uninterrupted. What happens? Yayatma suprasiddhati. Self becomes fully satisfied. So unmotivated and uninterrupted may seem a problem. Because with this Deha Dharma, we are identifying with various relations or aspects. So that is what we think is our Swadharma. Therefore, then Suda Goswami makes the adjustment. He says, what verse is that? Starting with Dharma. Before that. Yeah, sing. And let others repeat. Yes. Dharma svanushtita pumsam visvaksena kathasuya notpadayed yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. So what does that verse mean? Dhruva? Huh? Oh. Okay, dwell deeper into it. This is very important for adjusting our goal of life. Anyone? What does that verse mean? Arthapriya Mataji?
It's that occupational engagement is being engaged for the ultimate liberation. So whatever we do, we should do for our ultimate liberation.
I think you're talking about the next verse or the one before. Yes.
It should inspire us to hear the all-attractive message of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu.
All activities are useless unless it is devoted to.
Yes, very good. Yeah. As Sagira Prabhu said. It's Shrama eva hi kalam, useless if our attraction for hearing the activities of Krishna does not take place. So just think about it. Every day what we are doing, each hour, each minute, if that is not somehow or the other inspiring us to get attracted to message of Krishna, then it's regarded as useless. So the example is given. You may be having a very good job, earning a lot of money, but if with that money, if you're not able to look after the family, then what's the use of that money? I remember Sanatan Prabhu was saying to me, one of the colleagues he was working with, she was earning a lot of money, $200,000 per year, a very good salesperson, a lot of bonuses she was getting, but she was addicted to gambling. So all that money she was just throwing in poker machines. And then at the end of the month, she would come and ask, oh, can I borrow $500? I need to pay rent. person who's earning $200,000 is borrowing money for $500 because she has to pay a rent, because she has wasted all the money in gambling. So what's the use of earning so much? So similarly, what's the use that you perfectly executed your material duty, but you were not able to develop love for Krishna at the end of the life? That's useless. So at this point we have to just, put in our life's KPI. Where are we going? So there's a nice verse, I think we have covered this, 5:17. If you can open up page 230, you can sing. Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam hare bhajan pakvo tapate tato yadi yatra kvabhadramabuddhamusyakim ko vartapto bhajatam swadharmataha. It's a translation. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duty, does not gain anything. So in giving a class on this verse, Prabhupada says, even Christians say that, what profit a man when they gain the whole world but lose their soul? So we may achieve so many things in life, but what profit it is that we don't develop love for Krishna? Prabhupada's purport is very nice. If you can read it on your own time, that'd be really good. But I'll go in the middle of the purport, where Prabhupada says, the stress is given here to surrendering onto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is chance of falling down. Because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. So one of the excuses that we get from people in general when we invite them, and Prabhupada mentions this in his classes, that when people are invited for the meeting of devotees to discuss Krishna's pastime, oh, we are too busy. Too busy doing what? Or with the family, or indulging in parties or movies or this or that activity. We're just too busy. So, and they say, no, religion means what? A normal layman would say religion means what? Look after the family, get them comfortable, get the children education, and just be a nice person. So this is the standard of religion, only contained to the body. So Srimad Bhagavatam calls this kind of religion Kuta Dharma. Another dharma word. Kuta Dharma. Please repeat. Graheshu Kuta Dharmeshu. So what is Kuta Dharma? It's pseudo-religiosity, Prabhupada translates. Pseudo-religiosity means you think it's religion, but it's not religion. What is that? Putra dharadhana divihi. Oh, my children, my wife, my wealth, my house, all that at the moment is important for me. If you look after your family well, that is religion. But Narad Muni says, no, that is Kuta Dharma, that is pseudo-religiosity. Griheshu Kuta Dharmeshu Putra Dharadhanadibihi. Putra means son or children, Dhara means wife, Dhanadibihi means wealth, and etc. means house, assets, all those things. However, he goes on to say, Na param vindante mudho. Na param. If one doesn't see anything higher than this, then the result is what? Bhramyam samsara vartmasu. He has to come back again in this world. Bhramyam samsara vartmasu. Again and again he has to go to the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. So what is the use? You perfectly executed your swadharma, but you could not gain anything in parodharma. Therefore, yadi, word yadi is used in disgust. You did not even get attraction for hearing Krishna's pastime. It's shrama eva hi kevalam. It is useless labor. So Prabhupada in the purport says, the stress here is given to surrendering onto the lotus feet of Lord, even if there is chance of falling down. On the contrary, sometimes people are criticized, devotees are criticized by general people. Or, you think you are a devotee, but you are ignoring your family, or you are, doing this, doing that. All the critical things are there. I remember I was traveling in a bus with my Guru Maharaj, and this person, my Guru Maharaj was resting, I was awake. So this person offered some laddu, and I politely declined. I did not want to eat. So he said, yeah, sarcastically he said, you people have got used to eating the pure ghee laddus. These laddus are not good for you. Basically, man, just living off the society. So I replied back to him, you also join us. You can eat pure ghee laddu as well. And then he said, no, I can't do that. So they will criticize that you are doing this, you are doing that, you are ignoring family, children, or, why are you not giving a balanced life to children? They'll say all these excuses. What is balance? If you look at really, balance means what? 50-50, half-half. Then that's balance. So how much time we are spending in devotional service? Actually, the prescription is at least 3 hours. 3 out of 24. Is that balance? That's not balance. So actually, even in devotional life, we are not balanced because we are struggling with our own deha dharma and we're trying to follow swadharma. We may be thinking we are very good, very devotional, but actually we are not even balanced in our own devotion. The road is very far ahead. And then we are surrounded by all these people who, with these kind of comments, our faith also, and so the association of devotees therefore is so important, and association of Prabhupada books is so important. Prabhupada hammers this point, and so he goes on to say that he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. Once engaged in devotional service of the Lord, one will continue to serve in all circumstances. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such example in history. Ajamil is one of them. Ajamil in his early life was a devotee, but in his youth fell down. Still he was saved by the Lord at the end. So with confidence we can move towards parodharma, that no, anything we do in bhakti, it has eternal results. With the end of the body, it's not taken away. If you become a doctor, you die, next life you can't say, oh, I got my doctor's qualification in my last life, so I'll just start practicing. Anything with swadharma, it ultimates to zero at the end. Ramanuj Srinivasan, the great mathematician, explains, that everything ultimately is zero. At the death, everything that you have done becomes zero. However, there is one exception. The devotional service bhakti, actually, whatever percentage you have got, that percentage eternally is credited to the account of your soul. There's one nice verse, dhanani bhaumam pashavo hi goste nari grahadvari sakha samsane dehaschitayam paraloka marge dharmaika eka ihago rakshata. That at the end of the life, dhanani bhaumam, in old days they used to dig the ground and put the wealth in there, hide it. You die, that is gone. Pashavai ghoste, and the cows, the animals, they remain in the barn. And Nari Grahadvari, the wife only can come up to the doorstep. In ancient days, the women don't go to the crematorium. Only Grahadvara. And Sakha Samsane, friends, relatives, they come up to the crematorium. Dehaschitayam, even this body can only go up to the funeral pyre. Even the body we cannot take with us. Paraloka marge. But Paraloka marge, what comes with us? The dharma. That parodharma, bhakti, that only comes with us. Nothing else comes with us. So in all our decision making in life, it should be based around parodharma. We may be struggling with our senses, our mind, our body, but still, if we persevere and tolerate and keep moving, guess what? The deha dharma will diminish and parodharma will predominate. And this is what this is saying. Kamasya nendriya pritir. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should only desire labho jiveta yavata, a life of self-preservation, a healthy life. People don't die from not eating. People die from overeating. Self-preservation. Why self-preservation? Because the more your needs are, the more you have to work. The more you work, the less time you have for devotional service. Therefore, if our desires are contained, rather we deepen our devotional service internally, because actually that gives real happiness. Why are we indulging in sense gratification? Because we think that will make us happy. But we go on and on and on. We require more and more and more. It doesn't make us happy at the end of the day. But we just simply internalize it to Krishna. All our efforts and endeavor, yayatma suprasiddhati, susukham kartum avyayam. It gives us satisfaction, it gives us joy, happiness. What is that? Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purva dadami buddhi yogam tam machitta madgata prana bodhyantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Those who discuss Krishna's katha amongst themselves, machitta, giving their hearts to Krishna, life to Krishna, prana, and bodhiyantaha. And bodhiyantaha means they console each other, or give them, enliven each other. Then kathayantasya mam nityam, constantly engaging in Krishna katha, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They are satisfied, and ramanti, and they are joyful. So Bilva Mangal Thakur says, Eshu pravahe shusaeva manyo, that in this pravaha means the current of life, shanopi ganya purushayusheshu. So there is the purush, ayu means the life. So in this current of life, the actual purusha ayueshu, out of that, shanopi ganya means I only recognize that portion, that shana, that moment to be worthwhile or of any value, where the person has somehow or the other asvadyate kwapi, that he has tasted, he has remembered, he has sung the glories of Krishna, tasting it. Nilasya balasya nijam charitram, the bluish complexioned boy, he is nijam. He has gone down into the deep ocean to extract the glories of the bluish boy, Krishna, charitram, of his character, of his pastimes. Only that is valuable. Please repeat, it's a very nice verse. Eshu pravaheshu. It's prava. Prava means current. Saeva manye. Shanopi ganyaha. It's very close to Hindi. You can identify. Shano, moment, piganya, count. Ganya. You can count only that moment. Purushayusheshu. Out of this long life, only this is counted. What is that? Asvadyate yatra kayapi bhaktya. Asvadyate means we have tasted, the devotee has tasted through this body. Nilasya balasya nijam charitram. So this is the only thing. So therefore he says, jivasya tattva jignasa. The greater portion of life should be used for inquiring about the tattva. Tattva means what? Truth. What is truth? What is absolute truth? Jignasa. What does jignasa mean? Yeah, thirst for knowledge, knowing the truth. There is a nice name. Quite a few, actually Gujarati girls usually have this name, Jignasa. It's a very nice name. Thirst for knowing the truth. This is what human life is meant for. Jivasya tattva jignasa. Nartho yascheha karmibhi. Not for sense gratification. So again he says twice this point. Please repeat. Kamasya nendriya priti. Life's desires not to be directed towards sense gratification, but labho jiveta yavata. Only a healthy life or life of self-preservation should be one's desire, as far as material condition is concerned. And with all that time we save, what do we do? Jivasya tattva jignasa. We should try to find out about the absolute truth. What is absolute truth? Nartho yascheha karma bihi. Then again at the end he's emphasizing, nothing else should be the goal of life. Nartho yascheha karma bihi. So what is that tattva? In the next verse he's explaining. Vadanti tat tattva vidas Tattvam yadjnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan niti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. Please read the purport. I'll just read some part of the purport. I'll read. So, absolute truth, those who are perfect seers of absolute truth well know that the above three features of the one absolute truth are different perspective views seen from different angles of vision. So there is Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So Prabhupada uses this analogy of sun globe. So the person, the sun god is, you can say, equivalent to Bhagavan. Then the surface of the periphery of the sun is equal to, you can say, Paramatma. And the sun rays which pervade everywhere is Brahman. Another example you can see is that when you're traveling in the road, in the outback, there is like big mountain you see. And that mountain, actually, when you see from very far distance, it only appears green. Nothing else, green. But as you go closer, there's some definition of the trees. But as you enter the mountain, you can see, no, there are people there, animals there, houses there, huts there. It is personal. So, from far, it appears Brahman. Everything is one. You can't distinguish trees from the people, from the house. It all appears one. So that's Brahman realization. But as you go closer, then you see some differences there. That's Paramatma realization. But then as you enter into the realm of the mountain inside, then you see the personalities. So similarly, the personality of Godhead here is described as Bhagavan. And it is the last word of transcendence, Prabhupada says that. The next level is Paramatma. And then the next level is Brahman. Yes, Prabhuji? You want to? Yeah. No, yeah.
These three aspects actually cause a lot of confusion within devotees' mind.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit on, yes, the analogies are given, but if you can explain, like, who is Bhagavan, who is Paramatma, and what or who is Brahma, that will be, for many devotees it is confusing.
Yeah. Yes.
Would you agree with it?
Yeah, it is a source of great confusion. The Supreme Absolute Personality, as we've seen in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is described there as Lord Shri Krishna. From him everything emanates. So the word Bhagavan is designated to him. And as we go along, Srila Prabhupada will explain in the purports, especially in the third chapter. So we are not that far off of Purusha incarnations. There are many incarnations of Krishna. There's Leela avatars, Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Manvantara avatars, Shaktya-vesha avatars. I won't go into the detail of it. But when Krishna expands, first to Balarama, and then from Balarama there's quadruple expansions of Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Shankarshana. And then from Shankarshana there is another quadruple expansion of again Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Shankarshana. And then from that Shankarshana, then there is expansion of Purusha Avatara. Purusha Avatara means for material maintenance reasons, that expansion takes place. So that Purusha Avatara, the first Purusha Avatara is Mahavishnu, or Karana Kasai Vishnu, who lies on the casual ocean. And then from him, each pause, each universe manifests. And in each universe, again, that same Mahavishnu expands as Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, who lies on the bed of Shesha. Sheshanag, and Lord Goddess Lakshmi Devi is massaging his feet. And from his lotus, Lord Brahma comes out, and then the planetary systems within that universe is created. And then the same Lord expands into each and every atom, called Shirodakasai Vishnu. And in each heart called Paramatma. So that is the localized aspect of the Lord Paramatma. In one way non-different, because qualitatively it's the same, but at the same time different, because the leelas, the gunas, is restricted. However, that same Supreme Personal, if we manifest or if we innately, go into our hearts, that is there, Krishna is there personally in form of Paramatma to direct us towards the Bhagavan personality. And in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is very nicely, Krishna says to Arjuna, surrender unto him. He doesn't say surrender unto me. Surrender unto, because in this material world, Krishna in form of Paramatma is our guardian angel. We don't have to seek any. Of course, devotees are there outside to guide, but internally, as Chaitaguru, Paramatma is there to guide. But that is not all in all. Some people think that's all in all, and then they only restrict themselves to meditation and yoga. No, there is beyond that. And then the effulgence that comes from the body of Krishna, which is like rays of the sun, you can compare. It's pervading everywhere. That's Brahman realization, and that is like impersonal realization of the absolute truth. So they're all coming from Krishna, therefore they are non-different from Krishna, but at the same time they are different.
So qualitatively they are the same, but they are not actually the same. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan basically is much more realized.
Yeah. The source is all one, therefore they are not different, the same, but at the same time the absolute is different. Prabhu, you want to add something?
So, basically we have to understand that because Krishna is very merciful, he also presents himself in these features depending on what our proclivity is. So people who don't want to surrender, for example, it's okay, come to Brahma at least. You don't have to surrender. So basically, that's not like an absolute statement. There will be, of course, a mixture of these people. So the Jnanis, they want to, analyze everything analytically, and they don't want to surrender. So Krishna says, okay, Brahma is the choice for you. So the Jnanis generally want to not surrender, but know the absolute truth. So Brahma is for that. The yogis, there are people who like to meditate, people who like to internalize. People like that, for them, Paramatma is there. So at least come to that stage. But for devotees who are not satisfied with any of these things, they actually want personal, intimate relationship with the Lord. So for them, Bhagavan is there. And even within Bhagavan, we can have, Narayan, Vishnu, but then of course Prabhupada wanted us to have the highest, Radha, Krishna and Vrindavan. So Prabhupada, said that in ISKCON you get the highest, Braja Bhakti in, Krishna Bhakti in Vrindavan. So which is the highest, where, we can actually interact when we reach the spiritual world, is personal interaction with the Lord and His pure devotees who are already there. So does it make sense? So because if you tell, like for example, Aborigines, they worship nature. They worship nature. So there are people who are worshiping. Krishna says, okay, my universal form is there. You look at nature and you think I'm God. No, that's for you. They might not be ready for Bhagavan. But as Prabhu says, when you go forward in the journey, then you realize, okay, there's something more, there's something more, there's something more. And ultimately, then we reach to Bhagavan. Like we go to, you're going to Sydney, for example. So from here, where are you going? You're going to Sydney, for example, right? So Sydney is a big city, but where in Sydney? Then you go to this suburb. But then you go to a particular accommodation, hotel or some friend's place, whatever it is. So that's Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And one last example, if I can give you, is that, when you go to a devotee's home and they're making some nice gulab jamuns, you're at the door, you can smell nice gulab jamuns, that like Brahma. Okay, nice, good feeling, but still not satisfying. Then you see, that's Paramatma. You're smelling, then you're seeing, then actually once it's offered and you taste that, that's Bhagavan. Makes sense?
Sorry, is it a step we have to go, or just we can go directly to Bhagavan?
You can go directly if the proclivity is there. So, for us the advantage is we are here. So we know that, okay, the Supreme Person there, all we want is relationship with Him, right? Of course, we don't neglect Paramatma and don't neglect Brahma, but our focus is not Brahma or Paramatma, our focus is direct Bhagavan. And Bhagavan again in the form of the divine couple.
I'd just like to add one question I asked one of the senior sannyasi devotees. I asked him, this is in relevance to this similar thing, that when we will leave this body and wherever we go, like even if we go to any of the higher planetary or the lower planetary systems, the Paramatma will always go with us. He will always travel. He never leaves us.
Yes.
But while we are in the Brahman, it is a Paramatma who actually is responsible but when we leave this Brahman, and when a devotee goes to Krishna's planet, in his heart, he doesn't see Paramatma there because there is no role of Paramatma. Paramatma is actually like Shivadakshay Vishnu. He's
In the material world.
Working in the realm of this Brahman or the universe. But when we leave this universe and we go there, depending on what is his deity, like worshipable deity. If he's in Vaikuntha, it will be Narayan. But if he is in Golok Vrindavan, there in his heart, there won't be, there is no question of Paramatma anyways, because Paramatma is left only in the Brahman. He is only the deity in the Brahman, but there it will be the Krishna, like if he is in Braj Vrindavan and he is a form of a Sakha, so he will actually be able to perceive in his heart that form of Krishna, and inside also, outside also. But Brahman is only the Paramatma is working, so Paramatma is left in the Brahman only.
Yes.
So the general rule, Paramatma is only in the material
World.
creation.
The Shivadakshay Vishnu and the Purusha avatars are only for the material creation.
So in the third chapter, this point is discussed again at the start. So we'll go when we reach there in detail. Let's move to next verse. Text number 12. Tachraddhana munayo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani cha atmanam bhaktya shvatagrahitaya. So when you're learning these verses, please try to learn the word to word also, because that will give you further insight into what Prabhupada is saying. Please repeat. Tat, that. Shraddhadhanaha, seriously inquisitive. Munayaha, sages. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, detachment. Yuktya, well equipped with. Pashyanti, see. Atmani, within himself. Cha, and Atmanam, the Paramatma. bhaktya, in devotional service, shruta, the Vedas, grihitaya, well received. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes the absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So this verse is very important because it gives us the insight into what we need to be equipped with. So what we need to be equipped with here, according to the verse, jnana and vairagya. And this we have seen again and again. What is that verse? Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janyat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Aheitukam. So Prabhupada in this verse discusses about the four kinds of human beings: the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas, the devotees. So out of these, he says the three are transcendentalists. So he classifies the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas as transcendentalists. The karmis are at material level, and unless they come in contact with a devotee, they have to go many, many lifetimes before they can come to pure devotional service. Same with jnanis, they have to undergo many, many lifetimes until they come to pure devotional service. And same with yogis. And within even the class of devotees, there are three categories. The first one is described as Kanishta Adhikari, the neophyte devotee, who accepts the deity form of Krishna as all in all, but he is not really interested in other devotees, or he is not really interested in hearing the Shastras. He has some faith, but his faith is not very fixed. However, again, when he hears pure devotees or message of Krishna, then he can come to the platform of Madhyam Adhikari, which is the second class devotee. The Madhyam Adhikari devotee has four kinds of interactions with four kinds of persons. With Supreme Personality of Godhead, what does he do? He worships, he loves Supreme Personality of Godhead. With devotees, he forms friendship. With innocent persons, he gives mercy. He gives them Krishna consciousness. And those who are atheist, devout atheist, he stays away from them because he is not at the topmost platform. If he tries to engage with them, he also may join them. So, but still, his faith is very strong because he is based on scriptures. Now, Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentions that at least everyone should come to the platform of Madhyam Adhikari devotees, and keep working on that. And Uttama Adhikari devotee is the topmost devotee, Bhagavata Pradhana, always remembering Krishna, but he feels that actually everyone in this world is doing devotional service except for me. That's the condition of the Uttama Adhikari devotee. But when Uttama Adhikari devotee preaches, he comes to the level of Madhyam because he has to discriminate. But still he remains Uttam. So like Prabhupada's example is given. He's an Uttam Adhikari, but for preaching purpose, he comes to the Madhyam level. Now, the important point, our Guru Maharaj actually made us memorize this part of the paper. So about 2/3 down the page, there is this line, devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge combined with the detachment from material association and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti is the only perfect method by which a seriously inquisitive student can realize absolute truth. Have you found that? Please repeat. Devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge combined with the detachment from material association which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti is the only perfect method by which a seriously inquisitive student can realize the absolute truth. Let's meditate on this. So devotional service, meaning the actual bhakti. I'll come to that. Okay.
What is the Vedanta Shruti?
Okay, I'll come to that. So devotional service, we understand is the 5 main processes as laid down by Rupa Goswami is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Srimad Bhagavata Katha Shravana, Archa Murti Seva, the worship of the deity, Mathura Vasa, residing in holy places. You do 4 of these things, you are in holy place already, no matter where you are. So this is devotional service combined with the 9 processes, Shravanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam, the Nauda Bhakti process, of which chanting of the holy names is the foremost for this age, day and age. This is devotional service in a nutshell, we can say. Based on the foreground of full knowledge. So it is not sentiment. Prabhupada later on, I think somewhere he says that knowledge without devotion is speculation. And devotion without knowledge is fanatism. We are neither. Our conviction is not based on sentimentalism. Our conviction is based on the foreground of full knowledge. Therefore, devotees are not fanatics. So devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with a detachment from material association. So if we do devotional service, naturally knowledge is there because it is based on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And naturally, the byproduct of devotional service is detachment. What are the 2 Sanskrit words for knowledge and detachment here? Jnana and Vairagya. This is the purpose Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksharthe Kaha Purusha Puranam. Vairagya Vidya, knowledge and detachment. Devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge combined with a detachment from material association and fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. So Gunesh asks, what is Vedanta Shruti? So Vedanta Shruti is the natural commentary, final conclusion of Vyasadeva, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So Veda means knowledge, and Anta means the end of knowledge. So end of knowledge. But Vedanta Sutra, you can describe this like a mango tree. You can't understand it. So, to make us understand, there needs to be a commentary. So the commentary of Vedanta Sutra is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is the last work of Vyasadeva, and that is the work which satisfied him. So when Prabhupada says here, which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, it actually means Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we are fixed in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's why Prabhupada made Srimad Bhagavatam the mission of his life. You know, one thing, even Ghanshyam Govind Prabhu, I was hearing him recently, he was saying that one thing Prabhupada wanted to exclusively focus always, despite so many activities going on, temple building, this, that, until his last breath, still translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Because by being fixed in Srimad Bhagavatam, all these other things, you'll see, will be possible. I have my personal experience in this, that no matter what, no matter what the organizational structure is, no matter what the political affiliation is, no matter whether the authorities recognize you or not, if we can bury our heads in pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and just focus on this, chanting of the holy names and everything that Srimad Bhagavatam says, then over time we will glow, we will come out. How long the sun can hide behind the clouds? Srimad Bhagavatam actually nurtures and polishes our pure devotion for Krishna. Therefore, we have to be fixed. Please try to memorize this sentence. Devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with the detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, is the only perfect way by which a seriously inquisitive student can understand absolute truth. Just meditate. Prabhupada says, is the only perfect method. Yeah, only perfect method. Prabhupada says this here. So, and we have seen those who somehow become fixed with Srimad Bhagavatam and within the confinements of this sentence do devotional service, very quickly natural detachment from material things happen, natural attachment for Krishna and devotees happens, natural knowledge just comes out, and they are able to have a very progressive pathway towards journey back home, back to Godhead. Tachraddhana munaya jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani cha atmanam bhaktya shrutagrahitaya. Any questions on that point? The four? Oh, five. Okay. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Samkirtana, Bhagavad Katha Shravana, Sri Archa Seva, and Mathura Vasa. Sri Archa Sevaya, Murti Seva, deity worship.
And then plus the 9 processes.
Yeah, 9 process. You can say these are come in that category, subset.
And in that association is the most important one, because everything what we do is in association of devotees. When we do deity worship also, someone is cooking, someone is making garlands, someone is decorating. It's association of devotees. When we do japa, that's good, but then we do sankirtan, when we do it together, that's again association of devotees. Association of devotees is also important by itself. And Mathura Vas, when we talk of going to a holy place or living in a holy place, it's no point just going to a holy place and taking bath in a river. Most important is to hear sadhu there. So again, association of devotees. So everywhere association of devotees is the most important factor.
That's why coming in personal association is more important, because there is no way, if you, all due respect to Facebook audience, there is no way. There's no way the personal association can be replaced by impersonal association. So in the personal association, we are 100% focused, but when you are just with the electronic device, you have your own mind, and we don't know how, still, it's better to go back and listen. If you're not able to come, then it's good, but it is no substitute. Personal association is no substitute. Therefore, sadhu sangha, as Prabhuji very rightly said, is the most important aspect of devotional service, and that will come in the next few verses. Next one. Atapumbhirdvija srestha varnashrama vibhagasaha svanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Ataha, so, pumbhihi, by the human being, dvija sreshthaha, objects amongst the twice born, varna ashrama, the institution of 4 castes and 4 orders of life, vibhagasaha, by the divisions of svanushthitasya, of one's own prescribed duty, dharmasya, occupational, samsiddhihi, the highest perfection, hari, the personality of Godhead, toshanam, pleasing. Please repeat. Objects among the twice born. It is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to the caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. It's very, very clear. So, if see, all these verses are related to previous verses. So, jivasya tattva jignasa. So, there they mention that's the life, the greater energy of the life should be focused in knowing the absolute truth, having the thirst of knowledge for absolute truth. Then, what is that absolute truth is described in the next verse. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. Bhagavan is the last word of transcendence, Prabhupada says. So that is the tattva, the last word of transcendence. Actually, one pastime I remembered, there was one Brahmavadi, sannyasi in Vrindavan. His name was Madhusudan Saraswati, and he was habit in a debate, always debating with devotees, and he used to get great joy by defeating the devotees. Once from Radharaman temple, actually, that sannyasi was walking out, and one great Vaishnava saint came to him and said, "Oh, Madhusudan Saraswati, you pose yourself to be a great scholar, but according to you, everyone is Brahma. You are Brahma, I am Brahma, everything is Brahma. So how proud you feel you are a Brahman defeating another Brahman. What's the difference if all's the same? What is the meaning of your defeat or your victory?"
That means you are also defeating yourself.
Yeah. So, because of the purity of that Vaishnava's words, it had a great impact on Madhusudan Saraswati. And he gave up that Brahmamadi. So this is the difference actually. Whatever platform we are situated in, the differentiating factor in our progress is a pure devotee of the Lord. Once we get pure devotee of the Lord in our life, somehow or the other, He actually turns our propensity towards purity. Once some Mayavadi sannyasi came to visit Prabhupada and he gave these leaflets, advertising the Mayavadi, some lecture was going, and Prabhupada took them. Now all the disciples were shocked. Prabhupada, what are we going to do with this? And Prabhupada said, doesn't matter, we'll keep this. So during the Sunday feast, Prabhupada said, bring those leaflets. And he put it on the floor, like distribute to everyone, and on top of that, prasadam. And then that was saved. So that person saved a pure devotee. And just by coming in contact with the pure devotee, some service is rendered and the blessing comes about. Therefore, this service, those people who are very good, they want to serve. Everyone wants to serve, somehow or the other. A devotee engages their service propensity in Krishna consciousness. Some little thing, then they get the mercy. And their journey towards Krishna consciousness then actually starts. So in that way, our preaching activity involves somehow or the other using or getting people's propensity to serve in service of Krishna. That's how they get the mercy. So this devotee, he started, practicing the aspects of pure devotional service. And then his disciples, they started thinking, our spiritual master is deviating from the path. He went back to Banaras and the disciples were questioning amongst themselves. What he taught us is completely doing different. So they all got together and approached the spiritual master and they asked him this question. Please tell us, what do you understand to be the tattva, the truth? What is the tattva? So there, Madhusudan Saraswati, he composed a verse and he explained according to him what the supreme absolute truth is. So he said, please repeat after me. Purnen sundaram Vamshi vibhushita Kararnava niradabhad. Vamshi vibhushita, he is vibhushat, karar on his hands with vamshi, and niradabhad, and his bodily hue is like a newly formed blackish cloud. Vamshi vibhushita karar navaniradabhad Pitambaram Arunabimba Phaladharushta. And he's wearing pitambara, dhoti, yellow color, and he's shining like sun. And Arunabimba Phaladharushta, and his lips are like the bimba fruit, reddish. Purnendu Sundara Mukhad. And his face is round like a moon. And it's very, very beautiful. Aravinda Netran. And his eyes are like lotus petals. And then in the last line he says, Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvam Aham Najane. Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvam Aham Najane. There is no other tattva, truth, higher than Krishna that I know of. He said that. You may know something else, that's fine, but I don't know anything apart from Krishna. This is the position of a pure devotee. So that is tattva. So if that is the tattva, then all our faculties of jnana, vairagya, we have to engage towards that. And how we do that? By tachraddhana munayo. Our faculty of faith, inquisitiveness, jnana vairagya yuktaya, with the knowledge and detachment, pashyanti atmani cha atmanam, bhaktya shruta the bhaktya, the devotee, shruta grihitaya, we have to be fixed in oral reception of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he says, therefore, ataha means therefore, atah pumbhir dvija sreshtha varnashrama vibhagasaha. So he's again bringing us back to our own position of swadharma. Okay, that's like that's very high, okay. But our situation is here in our own swadharma we identify. But even that perfection, swanushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritosanam. Even the perfection of our own swadharma will be attained when samsiddhi means perfection, samsiddhir means perfect perfection, haritoshanam, when we will be able to satisfy Supreme Lord Krishna within our own situation, within our own swadharma. So everyone can do devotional service, no matter what varna, what ashram they belong to. Perfectly they can do devotional service. There is no exception. Sud Goswami basically here is saying there is no excuse. So Kuta Dharma is just selfishness and detrimental to our own selves. Rather, Parodharma should be our goal, and we adjust our own Swadharma according to the Parodharma, not according to the Deha Dharma. If we try to adjust according to the Deha Dharma, it will just suck us down. And that will become Kuta Dharma, just pseudo-religiosity. In our mind we will be thinking, no, my duty is this, my duty is that, but no, it is zero. Brahmyam samsara vartmasu. It will get us back in this cycle of birth and death. Time is up. 9 o'clock.
I was just thinking, in the first chapter we came across this word Katava Dharma. So Katava Dharma was in connection to the other type of religiosity.
Cheating, yeah.
Cheating. But can it be used for Kuta or it cannot be used interchangeably? Kuta means...
Interchangeable. These are all synonyms. So Deha Dharma, Samsara Dharma, Kuta Dharma, Kaitava Dharma, they are all synonyms. And Paro Dharma, Moksha Dharma, Nivritti Dharma, they are all synonyms. So you can. That's very good point, Mataji. So we should capture these words, and see how which category we are belonging to.
So the word Toshanam and Suprasidati is also similar.
Yeah, Toshanam and Suprasidati is very similar. Tushta also, satisfaction.
In 11th canto there is a verse which describes in the Kali Yuga the adharma, apadharma, upadharma, different types of dharmas are described. The proper description is given as a proper word. So I'll try to find out if I can.
Yeah, that will be nice. Yeah.
So.
So the Parodharma is like Bhagavad Dharma, Nivritti Dharma, Moksha Dharma, and Swadharma can be described, Varnashrama Dharma, that's that regulating. And then the Deha Dharma, Samsara Dharma, Kuta Dharma, Kaitava Dharma.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote the book Jaiva Dharma.
Yes,
Which is the soul.
soul. For the soul. Yeah.
So some people use also Sanatana Dharma, that means
Eternal Dharma.
So,
So you can write 3 categories and see whatever Dharma fits in with category.
even Uttama, Kanishta and Madhyamadhikari, in the scriptures Prabhupada has given quite a few in different places. Our Acharya has given different qualities which each one of them have. I think I've got a table. If I can find the table, I can share in the group.
Even in just recently we were reading Harinam Chintamani, and in that Haridas Thakur is saying the 3 ways you can categorize Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama by the chanting. If anybody takes the name of Krishna once, he becomes a Kanishta, but if he's taking the names of Krishna continuously, Madhyama, and the one in which contact, if anybody comes and they start chanting, is the Uttama.
Yes.
Bhakti Siddhanta says Thakur Prabhupada's Guru, he said if anyone is chanting less than 64 rounds a day, he is a fallen person. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Babuji. Thank you everyone for your association. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vilas Krishna Prabhu ki
Gaura Bhakta Bindu ki jai.